Can you talk in your mic for me?
You guys set this up weird this time.
Oh my fucking God. Yes, we did set your mic up for you, Kelly.
Move the thing.
La la la. Loo loo loo.
It is Frightday. This is episode 21. I'm your host, Byron, and tonight we head north into Adam MacDonald's Backcountry. We're also going to talk a little bit about a monster that Kelly guarantees no one's heard of, right?
Okay, no, most likely
How much money?
What's a hipster
people
monster?
haven't heard of. Also, I'd like to talk about Linus Norgren.
Linus Norgren's in the news.
He's in Kelly's news, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Always in the news and never far from our hearts. It's Sasquatch himself, Mr. Linus Norgren.
And also, I'm joined tonight with Kelly
Hi.
and Sam.
Hey there.
Guys,
Yeah.
how's your week?
It's good. I think the only thing that Sam will let me talk about is that I've been researching Linus Norgren's Facebook profile.
I mean, that's a significant step.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually hilarious.
Let's start with Sam then. Sam,
Yeah.
what'd you do this week?
So my primary accomplishment this week was watching Sleepaway Camp 2
That's my favorite
And-
sleepaway camp.
and 3.
3's all right, too.
I loved both of them, and I have no idea how I managed to grow up in the 80s and have never seen
I've never
This is
seen
your-
them.
Wait, this is
either.
your first
never
time.
have never seen them
I've never seen any of them.
and haven't seen the first one
And he
still.
didn't wait to watch them with me. He cheats on me
whoa,
all the
whoa,
time.
Whoa. I'm angry. You haven't seen the original?
Wait
No,
a second. You've
and I-
never seen The Shining, right, Byron?
Me?
Yeah.
Come on now.
We are
What do you think I am?
Oh.
Of course I've seen The Shining.
Okay.
yeah.
First-
Craziness. One is not available on streaming anywhere. I assume it's distribution.
Yeah, wasn't it
problems.
on Netflix or Prime? They put it out this week. 2 and 3.
2 and 3, yes.
They're fun. I kind of have a crush on the main girl.
Yeah, on Angela?
Yeah, a bit of Angie crush.
Yeah. So how did you let that one slip by me, Byron?
Dude, there's so many movies.
I know there are. There are those two, and then there are more. It's crazy. But
Kelly's eyes. She got.
you would have hated these, Kelly.
I don't think
They're like the quintessential
I'm gonna leave you
slasher
for Linus
where
Norgren.
they understand the appropriate use of gratuitous nudity,
and some outrageous violence.
hilarious kills.
You had a great time.
Yeah,
You had a
loved
blast.
it. I mean, I was giggling, and it was extremely distracting. I was trying to get other things done, and it did not work especially well with Sleepaway Camps 2 and 3. And not to mention awesome soundtracks.
Oh, I agree.
80s butt
Completely.
rock.
Yeah,
You
it's
put Metal Blade on a soundtrack, and I'm sold.
Well, I'm glad you had fun. Still, shame on you. Everyone tweet #SamShame. We're gonna do a
No shaming. I don't believe in shaming.
Yeah, but he didn't watch the first one.
But I'm pretty
I didn't watch the first one either.
Kelly, defend your husband. What did you watch this week?
We
Sorry.
watched Reanimator?
Oh, okay. Another classic 80s film.
Yeah.
You seem so
And
surprised.
this is why I didn't wait to watch Sleepaway Camp with
No,
you.
it was good.
What'd you
It was
think?
good.
Do you like stuffed animal cats?
Yeah, I guess.
Not so much, huh?
It was fun and campy.
See, this is an example of a movie that I just don't like that much. You know how I don't like the 80s and I say that they're too loud and too bright? This is
Sounds like me. Too loud and too
You're definitely
bright.
too loud. Yep.
This is Reanimator. I think I'm growing to appreciate these movies a little bit more in my age, but I just didn't really dig it when I first started, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not a Dr. Giggles guy.
Dr.
get that.
Giggles.
I enjoyed Reanimator. I didn't see, I guess, that there was anything so unique there that it should gain the cult status that it has.
Okay.
But I thought it was a really enjoyable slasher. Kelly, what was your honest opinion of it?
Okay, so I can understand its campy cult value. I didn't know enough about it going in, I guess. And had I expected that, I probably would have liked it just fine. It was just not scary, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it was fun.
What was that based on?
What'd you scroll, Byron? What'd you scroll?
I don't know. It was a ghoul.
Don't talk about Bagul.
Based on the short story Herbert West, Reanimator by H.P. Lovecraft.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to sound like a dummy.
Yeah, and I love Lovecraft.
You do. You're a Lovecraftian.
So I think that could be for me something that just because you guys aren't especially fans of his work, I had that going for me in the plus column.
Cool. Sounds like a good vintage week for you guys.
What about you, Byron? Were you rooting around more corpses? Cadavers.
No cadavers, no corpses this week. Once again, not a great horror week for Byron McKoy. I did, however, watch Foxcatcher, which is kind of fringe horror. Are you aware of the
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be super tense.
It's super tense. It's based on that true story of John DuPont, one of the DuPont family members.
Yeah.
He's worth $200 million. The family,
a well-balanced individual.
Oh, totally not an
fully in
inbred.
control of his faculties.
Definitely. A model citizen, He made everyone call him Golden Eagle in real life. So, great guy. He becomes a wrestling coach for one of the U.S. Olympic teams just on a whim because he's a really rich guy. Super scary in a really tense psychological way. Steve Carell, the makeup they did on Steve Carell and Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo. Amazing.
I feel like they got nominated.
They were nominated for a few Oscars, I think.
But I also saw about 17 minutes of a movie called Hell Night from 1981.
17 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't make it too far. It stars Linda Blair, and it was the director of
From Exorcist.
Yeah, but she also got she was nominated for a Razzie that year for Worst Actress.
What year was it?
1981.
I didn't know the Razzies dated back that far.
Well, you learn
That's
something
cool.
new every day. Maybe they went backwards for a while to catch up. They're
Could be.
Yeah.
Worthwhile if they had to delve into the 80s,
But other than that, didn't watch anything.
But probably can't talk about a ton of it, but tons of stuff going on behind the scenes.
A lot of scenes that are happening behind me. Yeah. Openings.
Why can't we talk about it?
Well, I mean, because I don't want to say stuff that's not going to happen for sure. We got some things lining up. Things are going good for Frightday right now.
Yeah, which means things are going good for you, the listener. Because anything that makes us more bearable is good for you in the end.
Exactly. That was not much of a week for us.
It was okay, though.
It was a week.
Yeah.
But we did watch some trailers. Sam, why don't you kick it off? You never talk trailers.
I don't, because there just hasn't been anything interesting that we've watched. And the trend continues. We watched the trailer for a movie called Private Number.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Nothing from me. I didn't feel too much. Kelly?
I mean... Okay, no, it really didn't look that good.
A series of sinister phone calls haunt an ex-alcoholic writer as he struggles to finish a novel. Efforts to trace the calls result in dead ends, leading the author with no choice but to solve the mystery himself.
Ooh,
it's a cool
mystery.
premise, but it just looked real low budge.
It did.
And not in like a fun
sins-
indie way, but like in a just bad.
Well, Lazrael Lilson, known for a movie that no one knows called The Rift.
No one knows that.
Yeah.
So he's known for something that no one knows.
I support
I
that.
guess.
I do not know it.
Yeah,
So.
he's also in production currently on a project called Halloween.
Boo.
I have no interest in this movie.
Maybe
sorry.
that show is a double feature and drive-ins this summer with Evil Bong 420.
Yeah, maybe. If a drive-in was a thing that existed.
It
we
does.
have one nearby.
Yeah, we'll have to make the trek over to go see a couple films.
I love a good trek almost as much as I liked the trailer for The Gift.
See, I thought that actually did look good. I don't know if you're mocking it or
No,
not.
I'm not. I'm actually pretty okay with this. Jason Bateman's in it. I don't see him in a lot of serious roles these days.
No.
He's not switching places with
I don't know
anybody.
that we're talking about these days. I think it's more ever.
Simon and Robin are a young married couple. Their lives are going well until they run into Gordo, a friend of Simon's.
He's Canadian.
Yeah, probably. Knows some secrets about Simon's past. As Robin learns more and more, she comes to question how well she really knows Simon. The trailer is a lot more interesting than that.
Yeah, obviously he has some secret from his past, and he did something terrible to somebody who's now seeking revenge.
It looks almost like a hand that rocks the cradle, Cape Fear.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I've seen this trend a lot lately. Actors turn directors. Like tonight's movie is another instance of that, right? Adam MacDonald was mostly an actor.
Yeah.
But this guy, Joel Edgerton, he's Australian. He was an MMA fighter.
Yeah, he was in that awesome movie Warrior.
Yeah.
With my number one, Hardy. Actually, he's my number 2. Gosling's my number 1.
And he was also in episode 2 and 3 of Star Wars.
Yeah, don't say that to Sam.
Yeah.
Sam will automatically.
I am
hate
not
him.
familiar with these movies of which you speak.
But I kind of trust him from the looks of this. It's pretty...
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. I don't have any release information or if that's going to be in theaters, but I bet it would.
Did we
it's,
even-
it's a Blumhouse.
Yeah, it's actually going to be in theaters in July.
Really?
Yes.
Great.
Did we even get a rating on that one? Because it wasn't Red Band.
R.
Excellent.
I like that. Finally, we watched a trailer called The Harvest.
Woo!
Great, unique title.
Yes.
No, come on.
Yes. I like the simple titles. I think they're good.
The Harvest.
They're all the
coming
same.
this autumn to a field near you.
That's good. I see if they drop taglines like they used to, like that, I would love it so much more. So this is your typical Munchausen.
Typical Munchausen.
You know,
Munchausen
Actually,
by proxy.
it's not typical anything. It looks like a grim secret garden is exactly what it looks like.
I'll take that. It's got a Michael Shannon. I trust the Shan.
Yeah.
It looks like it could
Love
have been
Shannon.
the immediate prequel to the first part of The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, immediate prequel. I like that. I don't know. A couple who keeps their sick son in a secluded environment finds their controlled lives challenged by a young girl who moves in next door.
Weird. Does that sound exactly like Secret Garden? Oh, totally.
That was not my favorite Depp. That was a Depp? That was Secret Window. I'm thinking Secret Window.
No.
All these secrets.
Secret Garden is
So
a
many
freaking
secrets.
like old
Secrets
kids
and
movie.
lies.
Didn't you ever watch that when you were little?
What was it?
I
And
never
then it
did
became
either.
a musical too. It's a great
No.
musical,
No.
but it wasn't all. There's a non-musical movie of it too.
You just said they made a musical of it, so
But there's a non-musical.
Have you guys really never seen The Secret Garden?
there's a
The Secret
musical
of
version
Nymph?
of it.
No, and it's Nim.
Nymph?
A Secret of
Dumbass.
Nymph was the porno.
Oh,
Or was the
that's
Secret
right.
of Nympho?
There
Oh
is
my
that,
God.
and that is all for trailers. Let's talk about some news.
Okay.
I got to figure out a way to segue.
I think you just shouldn't.
Kelly, you know about news.
Yeah, I do. Somebody does their research around here. Thank God.
Come on now, Kelly.
Jesus,
Get
it's,
off my
it's
back.
obnoxious. My favorite bit of news is that Gore Verbinski is going to be making a horror film. People know him really well for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but he also, way back in the day, made the original Ring, so he does know horror.
You mean Ringo?
Well, okay, that was really poorly spoken on
No,
my
I'm
part.
just
Not
kidding.
the original Ring, the original American
There we go. Okay.
remake of the Ring. Okay, so not.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I think the audience does as well.
Okay, just making sure. Okay. So he's making a new movie. This week, the announcement came that it will be starring one of my favorite actors, Dane DeHaan, who was in Life After Beth.
Oh, okay. I know that guy.
Yep. And the movie is called A Cure for Wellness. And there's not a ton out there right now, but apparently Dane DeHaan plays an employee who's sent to rescue his boss from a European wellness spa, but realizes once he's there that the facility has more sinister plans for its patients.
People are always figuring out things like that, you know?
Yeah, so it kind of sounds a little bit Shutter Island-y, maybe, but
Oof, that's not a good one to compare anything to.
I like that movie.
You like Shutter Island?
Loved it.
Sam, how about you?
Shutter Island?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yes, you did. We watched it together.
No, you watched it with other guys.
No.
Now, I
I actually think you watched it with your dad.
so I like that guy. What's his name again?
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan.
He looks like a young Leo.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Like
Yes.
a weaker Leo.
Did you watch Young Leo? Have you seen
Nah.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? It
No.
really doesn't get much weaker.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's actually gonna be really good. I mean, it hasn't filmed yet. It's gonna be a while before we see it, but
For sure.
it's exciting that he'll be in it. That was great news
Great news.
from my perspective.
I got some great news.
Let's hear it.
You guys are all familiar with the fantastic film series, The Human Centipede?
Yep. Yeah,
You've never seen them, though.
no.
Any of them.
I just don't care.
But you have to.
Okay, I probably do.
So Human Centipede 3, the final sequence, thank God. I wish that was the full title. Good news, the final sequence will be crawling its way onto VOD platforms May 22nd.
Yuck.
They haven't been releasing much information about this. A lot of rumors said that last year they were done filming it, but
How many legs is this centipede supposed to have?
Well, funny you ask, Sam. This was a goal he set a long time ago, and we now have word that this movie includes a 500-person human centipede. They had an open cast.
What the hell?
Yeah, 500 mouths to butts, you know? Originally, there was like an open casting call for this, and a lot of people got really excited to be part of this human centipede. But a little backstory. This movie will have Dieter Lasser? I don't know.
Clue who that is.
The mad scientist from the
original, and then Lawrence R. Harvey, who's like the really gross, scary guy from the second one, are both going to be in this movie. It takes place in a prison. I'll read just the full description.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's going to be a good
So what,
one.
he makes a chain gang out of human centipede?
So, bully prison warden Bill Boss, leading a big state prison in the US of A, these are his words, it's great, has a lot of problems. His prison statistically has the highest amount of prison riots, medical costs, and staff turnover in the country. But foremost, he is unable to get the respect he thinks he deserves from his inmates and the state governor. He consistently fails in experimenting with different ideas for the ideal punishment to get the inmates in line, which drives him, together with the sizzling heat, completely insane. Under threats of termination by the governor, his loyal right-hand man, Dwight, comes up with a brilliant idea. A revolutionary idea which could change the American prison system for good and save billions of dollars. I don't need to finish this. You know where I'm going. A 500-person human
You only got to feed one person.
I mean, I guess by the time the shit gets to the, you know, it's awful. And I'm like, I support these
That
movies.
guy at the end's going to be really malnourished.
In the first human centipede, this is spoiler alert, the third person just ends up dying like almost immediately from that. Triple shit, you know what I'm saying?
Like double poop.
Double poop kills him pretty much instantly. So I don't know what they're thinking with this 500-person human centipede. But I'm watching it.
But
Good one, Kelly. That was a good one.
Kelly.
Maybe we'll do it for the show, right?
Real mature.
You want to do Human Centipede 3 for the show?
no.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I say we should do it.
I say we do it.
Yuck.
Sam,
Yeah. So Twin Peaks, that we were so excited to find out is going to get another season on Showtime, is
in jeopardy.
in jeopardy right now.
Yeah.
David Lynch
So pissed.
has separated from the project, citing Showtime's unwillingness to fund the scripts
Cheap bastard.
to the level that he feels they need to be properly produced. So obviously all of Twin Peaks' legions of diehard fans, because people are serious about Twin Peaks, as I'm sure I don't have to tell our listeners, have mounted an internet campaign to convince Showtime to bring Lynch back. And today,
Sure.
when
April 8th.
April 8th, the cast of Twin Peaks banded together to put out a video urging fans to harass Showtime into bringing Lynch back. Notably absent from the video was Kyle MacLachlan, who may at this point just be too important to appear for free on small internet videos.
There was no Ray Wise either.
Oh, good point.
That made me kind of nervous. The video surfaced on a Facebook page that the cast made, which is pretty cool. I don't know who's the main rallier of this group, but I think it's pretty cool to see that. I don't know how much good it's going to do.
I don't know. Well, maybe it. This Variety article just came out. They just posted it in the last half hour. That the head of Showtime is personally reached out to Lynch to discuss how they can come to terms over the budget, and the situation has been complicated. This is from Variety. Has been complicated by what sources say was the fact that Lynch had not been in contact with his longtime lawyer before announcing his decision to depart.
But yeah, he announced it on Twitter.
Yeah.
In like 5 or 6 tweets.
So it's possible that he wasn't getting all the communication regarding his project.
Or it's possible that he's locked into a contract.
That's my concern.
And didn't talk to his lawyer about it and made a rather hasty. It's kind of a temper tantrum thing.
That's a very good point. So
yeah, but you're right, Sam. It could swing either way.
But it sounds like Showtime is taking it really seriously. I mean, so much so that the head of Showtime is actually trying to talk to Lynch. But Usually it seems like when something gets this far afield, it doesn't look good.
Well, it's the whole thing's kind of
But
been
here's
soiled
the thing.
now.
Lynch is loopy. Lynch is a crazy son of a bitch.
does whatever
Anybody
he
who's
wants.
ever seen Eraserhead knows that. At this point, it could just be him being weird, which, whatever.
I think that once he's made that decision, his pride is going to be on the line, you know? He's not going to be one to be like,
Well,
okay, now I have money.
No, because he said
Agreed.
it was over the money. And so,
Which is very interesting.
yeah, so if they give him the money, he's gotten what he wants, and it's not a pride issue then.
I don't know.
So they also cite sources who said that Showtime was willing to kick in more, but asked for concessions in other areas, including the profit participation definitions for Lynch and Frost. So it sounds like Showtime was maybe willing to spend more, but Lynch was going to have to give a little and say that he would accept less on his end. So who knows?
He just wrote a mindfulness book. You would think that he's a bit more like calm.
I hope this gets
About
made.
all
I
this.
honestly, I hate everything else that Lynch has ever done.
No, you
Other
don't,
than-
because you haven't seen most of it.
I haven't seen a lot of it either.
It's all
I should say everything
amazing.
of his that I have seen, I hated. That wasn't
Which
Twin
is
Peaks.
what? Can you tell me what that would be?
Blue
Because I know you haven't
Velvet.
seen Eraserhead. I know you haven't seen Mulholland Drive. I know you haven't seen.
How do you know I haven't
Lost
seen these
Highway.
things? Oh, Lost Highway, absolutely I have.
Guys got to be nice to each other.
I love you.
Thank you. I just am concerned that having this public argument is going to make it harder for us to enjoy it when the product's done. It's going to be impossible to look away from the thought that
The
maybe,
drama.
Yeah, that the budget was weird or that there was issue between Showtime and Lynch.
See, it doesn't change anything for me. I assume there's that kind of drama constantly with every project.
Yeah.
So that really doesn't change my perspective.
I don't
on
know. Like if it's bad, I'll be like, it's bad because of that. You know what I'm saying? We have an excuse now instead of just accepting it as it is. It's true. It's tough.
But it's not going to be bad. It's going to be amazing.
well, if it happens.
Shh, Byron, can you please be optimistic?
Okay.
You need to send some positive energy into the universe about this project.
Okay, I'm happy for it.
Okay, good.
Kelly, do you have anything else?
I
for
do.
us?
I've got a couple other things. So I know that this is kind of cryptidy, but I'm going to talk about it here anyway because it's not really
we could
cryptid.
just push the button.
No. Because I've got plenty for that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna just tap the button just a little.
no, don't tap it.
Okay.
Stop it. Stop.
Sorry.
Okay. So Linus Norgren, turns out his Facebook page is mostly public and it's amazing.
What is
and,
wrong with you?
Okay, so here's the thing though. He was arrested like in October.
You need to give the people a little bit of a backstory. If they're just joining
Sorry,
us.
if you're just joining us with the Linus Norgren saga, this is a 22-year-old in Oregon who attacked and brutally beat a hunter
I love this
claiming
so
that
much.
he was Sasquatch at the time. He was running around naked in the woods and kept yelling at the hunter, "Sasquatch kills the hunter." He claims that it was the result of a bipolar mental break.
He had known mental issues, right?
Right. And he apparently went off his medicine. But also the hunter reported that he would, like, after beating the hell out of him, he would periodically, like, suddenly doze and pass out for like 30 seconds and then come to again.
Really?
That sounds like more than just a med issue. That sounds like some significant drugs. And I have some evidence now to back that up after Facebook stalking the hell out of him.
The worst.
So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Rainbow Gathering.
Of course.
Yeah. So basically, they're like
Gross.
a roving
I agree.
troop of hippies that are far less innocuous than that might sound because they actually go to areas all across the country and basically destroy them. And like the last time they were in Missoula, this pushed me over the edge.
It's
with
like a
them.
mobile Woodstock.
Yeah, no, but it's far worse because Woodstock didn't like actively cause harm. They apparently just abandoned like their dogs and cats, and the Humane Society and other animal shelters around here were overflowing after they left last time.
Wow.
Because of it was something like 110 dogs or something they collected from the woods where they had been. Anybody who treats pets like that, I have no tolerance for. So anyhow, he is a member of the Oregon Rainbow Gathering.
Is that right?
So that lends some credence to the idea that he was probably on some significant drugs, in addition to the fact that there are some really creepy photos that he has very publicly displayed on this Facebook page, like one in a cemetery and a couple with him holding cats, looking like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. Like, honestly, Yeah, I'll have Byron.
That
post
one
of
shot
them.
that looks exactly like a
Buffalo
black
Bill.
metal album cover.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah,
Is that
so,
a graveyard?
Yeah, in a graveyard.
I mean,
So-
but in all honesty, there is a picture of me in the Salem graveyard on my as my
okay,
profile
right.
picture.
But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
but you were burying a body. It makes sense.
Here's the thing, though. So he was arrested in October. Like, there are photos from 2 months ago. He's just going about his business after he did this, pretending like life's totally normal. Like, comments on his page, "How's life, man?" Like, "Oh, life's good."
Is that what he said?
He gives this, like, a month ago, he posted this crazy ass diatribe about Oreos. He has a picture of him playing the guitar and eating Oreos.
Okay.
So this is like right before his trial starts. And
I mean, he
he's
didn't kill anyone, though, right?
Yeah, almost though.
Yeah.
So he got 10 years in prison.
Oh, so he's in legit
Yeah.
J now.
Yeah.
He's in the big house.
Yeah.
The slammer.
But so here's what he says.
That's got to be tough for Sasquatch. Yeah, I know.
Talking about Oreos, the filling is obviously inferior to the outside, but I'm still forced to eat all of it anyway. And even if that bland uniform filler makes the crunchy chocolatey good parts more interesting, that just pushes me to stomach all the yuck for a taste of something better. Yet even as I chew, the extremes intermingle and keep getting worse. So ultimately, I find that the overall taste is better than nothing at all, so I reach for another.
Nabisco. That sounds like a pretty good ad. I like it.
Does.
He's crazy.
I'm okay with it.
But boy, he's probably not doing very well. I mean, think how hard it was for Harry when he came, to live inside. It was
The
it was
Hendersons?
tough for him.
Yeah. So hold on though, but one of his friends actually posted, "Linus, how's life?" Response: keep in mind, right before his trial for
Sure.
attempted murder,
Yeah.
life, Chris, is an Oreo.
Someone needs to make a movie about this, a
I
documentary.
just can't believe it because you look at all the news stories, nobody's posting these hilarious photos from his Facebook page or I don't know.
I don't think that most people are probably as interested as we are.
But,
pretty interesting.
But we'll be keeping you updated.
We will. Linus, we haven't heard the last of Linus.
I love it. How about some real news? Is that it?
Well, Oren Pelly's Area 51, I should
Okay.
probably talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
really quickly.
There's an article on Frightday.com for you. But
Actually, a few weeks ago, Jason Blum announced that this movie that has been in the works literally since 2008. It's Oren Pelly, who is the guy that started the Paranormal Activity franchise.
Mm-hmm.
He recorded a movie way back, like I said, in 2008, 2009, about a group of reporters that supposedly stumble upon Area 51. I'm not sure how that happens, but, and, meet with some terrible horrors from, we're not sure, I assume aliens, government, etc.
yeah, they don't really give a lot of.
Which is great because I don't want a lot given away. But it was also, it was handheld, found footage, very similar to the Paranormal Activity
But it's a
stuff.
reporter.
Multiple reporters, I think. I think it's like
okay.
a group of friends, like 3 or 4. So we heard a few weeks ago from Jason Blum that it was no longer being tinkered with. It was done. And he was confident that it would someday see the light of day. And that was kind of all we got. But then this week, he went further. He was having some type of a Twitter exchange with a horror fan.
Well, that's because Jason Blum took over the Blumhouse account this week. It was some sort of
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, but
Okay.
so people were asking him a lot of questions.
Oh, so, and he was, apparently he was really responding. So he said actually that we would be seeing it very, very, very soon. And somebody had inquired
3
earlier.
varies, actually.
Triple V.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
serious.
Like literally, that's what he said. So somebody had inquired earlier about the possibility of VOD, and he had mentioned he thought that would be a good venue for releasing it, but who knows? I just really want to see it, and a lot of people have been talking about it for years, so we're hoping it finally comes to a viewing place near us, whether it's our television or a theater.
I guess we will see.
So now it is time for the real news.
Oh my gosh. Climb on your spaceships, everybody. Charge your ray guns. It's time for Captain Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies. We're going with the space theme.
Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies.
Okay, so don't worry, Captain Kelly will save you.
Sam,
Too much.
throw us into hyperdrive.
I'm like Han Solo,
No,
Sam.
come on. now. Han Golo. Let's do this.
All right, so first story I want to talk about tonight.
The amount of shame on his face. He's so mad.
I know, but there's none on mine, so it's okay.
Linus Norgren's in the news.
We just talked about him, Byron. We're done with Linus.
Are you sure?
I mean, we're done for now. There will be
All right.
more, I'm
It's
sure.
the Linus watch.
Okay, so the story that I would like to talk about first, I want you guys to pay very close attention to. Because I think this is a monster you guys actually haven't heard of. Correct me if you're wrong. So apparently for you guys, can you please pay attention to me?
Yeah, I'm trying.
He's just looking for his phone.
You guys, please. I'm serious.
Okay, where's my phone?
I don't. It's on the recliner. It's just the same color. Now that you got a case.
Continue. Linus
Can I talk now?
Yes. You can always talk.
Are you guys paying attention to me?
Sure.
I said you could talk.
I dropped my phone.
Fumble thumbs.
Damn it.
Okay. So Sam, put down your phone. Byron, put down your phone. Both of you need to listen to me.
Okay.
Listening.
Apparently divers have been reporting these sea monsters for a really long time. One incident report even includes a penguin being swallowed whole and dying.
I mean, how did they know it died?
Well, I'll explain in a moment.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. But they're rumored to be mostly peaceful. So kind of like Bigfoot, I guess. These monsters have been reported in sizes that are as long as sperm whales.
That's too big for what?
Huge. So we're talking huge sea monsters.
And
This
they're
is like
bioluminescent?
bioluminescent,
Glowing.
immortal
That's not a thing.
sea monsters. Okay, but divers have been reporting them for a really long time.
So it's like Cthulhu.
But how?
Or it's the Bends.
But they're more of
likely.
like this tube shape.
How do you know that something's immortal?
So it's like a floating, like a submerged, glowing, monstrous dong.
Okay, you guys, honestly, though, this isn't like crazy people in the woods. Like divers, people that dive for a living are typically fairly respectable individuals. You
and
really...
exposed at a much higher rate to nitrogen narcosis than anybody else is.
So you're telling me you don't believe in bioluminescent immortal sea monsters?
Well, at this point.
I mean,
you haven't told me much. Is that it?
Okay, no. So there's a picture of one that was captured in Tasmania, Australia.
Okay.
At the Eagle Hawk Dive Center. There's actually live video footage of it.
And what's it? What you didn't even say what this thing is called.
Well, so they've got different names for it. I think that the scientific name that's been given to it is a pyrosome.
Pyrosome. Okay. Oh.
So here's the thing, guys. Guess what?
what?
Joke's on you. They're totally real. Like proven by science.
Okay.
Like it's a real creature. And I was totally just proving a point and I did it. And now I know. See,
Nothing is immortal.
It is. It is.
How is it-
Okay, that sounds like a challenge.
How is it immortal?
I will make it not immortal.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is they actually consume themselves. So it's actually kind of like spring. Okay. A little bit like spring. They reproduce by cloning and then the colony regenerates injured parts. So literally pieces of the colony die, but the colony itself lives forever. They are literally immortal.
Okay, so I'm looking at this thing.
Yeah.
Looks like a giant, like a skin of a sausage, right?
Or a
Yeah.
condom.
Or a condom.
I love that skin of sausage comes up as a visual for you
I'm
before.
pretty
a condom.
unfamiliar with sausages.
I'm
Even
pretty-
more so.
I'm pretty familiar with condoms. So.
More so with condoms.
Oh my God.
So this thing, is it one living organism or is it
They're all over the ocean.
No, but
the
I'm saying
giant ones, yes.
it itself
it's a-
is one thing?
Yeah, it's a colony. It's they're kind of like aspen trees, I guess. So here's the thing though, guys. I just described something to you that sounded utterly insane, completely unbelievable.
Yeah.
And yet it's scientific fact, which goes to show
Yeah,
all of
there's
the
a
cryptid stuff
scientific explanation for it.
just goes to show that all of the cryptid information that you guys are constantly mocking me for may sound crazy, but may be just as rooted in science at some point in the future. So you better start listening.
I just don't. The thing is, Kelly.
Okay, hold on. Time out. You two both just fell for it.
I
Hook,
mean,
line,
yeah.
and sinker.
The hook, line.
Line, and sinker into the pyrosome at the bottom of the ocean.
If you could show us real pictures and real evidence and real scientists that believed in the other crazy shit you talk
There are
about,
lots
I would
of
believe them.
I've talked about them.
Not the cryptozoologist kind of scientist, but the sciencey kind.
Okay, Kelly, do you believe that there's a picture of a Bigfoot that is a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the Patterson footage, do you believe
I
in
don't
that?
know that the Patterson footage is, but I'm sure of all the photos that have been taken of Bigfoot out there, some of them are real. Yes.
But
I think absolutely the photos are real.
well,
Some
they
of
were
them are
taken by a
actually,
camera.
I think some of them are actually of a Bigfoot, yes.
Okay. I'm scrolling through pictures, multiple pictures of indisputable evidence that this thing exists.
Okay.
I don't see that with a lot of them. There's no Jersey Devil picture.
Okay, but
There's
here,
no-
keep in mind, the only reason that you're not saying that some guy created a tube out of fabric and put it at the bottom of the ocean,
Sure.
Because they could do that, right?
Yeah.
And create that same photo. The only reason that you're saying they didn't is because you are automatically accepting that because it's on websites like, Mother Nature Network, that it is real. And because there are scientists talking about it, that you guys don't immediately discredit it is real. Now, if you take the opposite side of the spectrum, okay? Yes, there are people that can dress up in ape costumes just as somebody could fake this photo. That doesn't mean that they are.
But
And there are scientists who believe in them, and there are lots of photos and footage. The big difference is these creatures are probably not self-aware, given the information that they know about them. These pyrosomes are very simple creatures,
Oh, yeah.
okay? Whereas a Sasquatch is self-aware, by all accounts, and is actively trying to keep itself hidden.
No, I don't believe that a Sasquatch has the intelligence to actively be that.
Absolutely it does.
And how would you know that?
That's the only way that it's survived, because us asshole humans would be shooting the hell out of it if it wasn't doing that.
I don't know, Sam. How do you feel?
I think it's funny. The only reason you guys aren't claiming that those photos are every bit as faked, I could show you as many photos of Bigfoot as there are of pyrosomes, unquestionably. And you would immediately question every
I could
photo of a
find you-
Bigfoot, and you would never question one of the photos of a pyrosome, and you know that's true.
I could find you as many photos of Zeus as you want. And then we could look at lightning and we would come to total. Well,
There aren't people claiming that the pictures of Zeus are real.
I
Sam.
believe in Zeus. I
All
just
right,
want to.
moving on to Kelly's next
you make
story.
a good point, Byron.
Thank you.
Even if you guys don't want to concede, I know I made
No,
my point, and I know the
Kelly-
listeners will understand it, even if you two don't. So that's fine.
Well, the listeners
That's
are
fine.
a lot smarter than Byron.
Yes,
and I.
obviously.
I love you guys.
So next story, Jessica Chastain, who
I like where this is going.
I like. She's in the upcoming Crimson Peak.
Mm-hmm.
She recently moved into a well-known haunted apartment.
Ooh.
Yeah.
On purpose?
Haunted by.
Well, she knew it was. I mean, it's got a huge backstory to it. So the ghost of Alfredo Taylor, an architect who designed
Alfredo.
Alfredo.
sauce.
Yes.
He's the architect.
Yes. The sauce was the architect. Alfredo Taylor,
Sauce is
architect
the
who designed the
boss.
1906 addition to this famed apartment building.
Okay.
Which is across the street from Carnegie Hall.
That's a nice place. That's good property.
Yeah. Well, it's a $5 million apartment. Apparently, this ghost roams the halls and rides the elevator up and down. And he likes to dangle watch fobs from his hand.
Wait, a watch fob?
Does he have opportunity to do that pretty frequently?
Apparently
in
he does.
2015.
Apparently, he's a ghost. Does what he wants.
Is there proof of this one? Like, there's video?
I don't believe that anyone still has a watch fob.
That's where I'm drawing the line.
It's a ghost.
Show me insanity.
Kelly, show me the fob.
There are lots of people who have reported this. And there are supposed to be other ghosts in the building as well. Johanna Godsky, who is a German-born singer at the Metropolitan Opera, and she sang there before World War I and lived in this apartment building. Also, the apartment building's called the Osborne.
Okay.
Okay.
It's good we know that.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
so she died in a car accident in Berlin in the 30s, but rumor is that this was her favorite place, and so she came back and haunts it as well.
Kelly, I don't mean to stop you right now. Do you believe that ghosts have the ability to do that when they die? Because there's a lot of people, their spirits get trapped places.
Right.
Like you're trapped in the place where you
know.
die. So
I mean, I guess for me, explaining ghosts is one of those things where I'm sure there is an explanation, and I'm sure it's something that at some point in the future will be rooted in science and make perfect sense. I just have no idea what it is now. So I just
Okay.
think it's really interesting.
sure.
But
So
I don't know what I don't know what it is.
you're not the authority on that, on positioning.
No,
On
no.
post-mortem.
But here's the other
spirit
really
birth.
interesting thing. This apartment, there's been so much activity in this apartment building that it actually was the place that the author of Rosemary's Baby was living at the time he wrote the story, and it supposedly inspired the story.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is it the same apartment or the same building that Jessica Chastain?
Same apartment,
Okay.
but not the same. Pardon me, same apartment building, not the same singular apartment, but the singular apartment that she has purchased is supposedly very personally haunted by this ghost of
By
the
the fob.
architect. Yes, by the fob.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Yeah, and
It
then
is cool.
just a couple little things. So interesting. There's an annual, many famous places and even less famous places like Missoula have annual marathons. There's a marathon just like that around Loch Ness.
How long is it?
And as
I'm looking it up.
you're an asshole,
I gotta know. There are things about Loch Ness that our listeners need to know.
a marathon is 26.2 miles.
How many? It's in Scotland. It's in
Okay,
kilometers.
You're an idiot. The conversion is 2.2. So
I actually don't know if
Okay.
Scotland's
So
standard or metric.
what's interesting is, in an effort to promote the marathon and get more people there, they are offering a $75,000 reward for anybody who signs up for the marathon and subsequently takes a selfie with Nessie
That is
in the frame.
That's a
that is the worst millennial thing having to do with a cryptid I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. A
Can you
selfie
use
is
a
rather
selfie stick?
disrespectful.
Yeah, I think
I think there are no limitations.
I mean, that's pretty cool. $75,000 from the government or from the race?
From the race,
Okay.
I think. I don't know if the race is
And
sponsored
how
by
much
the
does it
government,
cost
though.
to sign up for this?
I don't know.
Probably a lot.
so if they
Probably a-
only get,
Probably a lock.
Oh
Sorry.
my God, Byron.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, even if they take in
It was a lock joke.
only
It was a good joke.
No, don't say.
only $100,000, then they could still have that contest, and they're still going to keep $100,000
Of course, because
because there's no such thing as a Loch Ness
yeah,
monster.
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
So then my last story for the day.
No defense anymore.
No, I'm just done. I have no energy.
We broke Kelly.
Oh no.
You didn't break me. I'm just going to beat the shit out of you later.
Byron, don't go.
So, lots of people who follow SETI, which is Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which is not some out there loopy group. It's government
thing.
affiliated.
You
Yeah.
said that last week.
Yeah. Okay. So, a lot of people that follow that know that starting a number of years ago, they were recording, actually starting in 2007, they recorded a series of radio bursts. And the last signal was captured in 2011. There have been 11 signal bursts, and there has been a very specific pattern to them. I don't understand the math exactly. It's very complex, and I would need to sit down with it.
After.
But one interesting thing that they do point out is the difference between each instance, of those 11 bursts has been an exact multiple of 187.5.
Okay, is there any significance of that number?
Well, it just means that it would be really strange if that was a coincidence. So that's what this story is about. And this is from Tech Times. This isn't like some weird out there. But the point is, the bursts are coming in such regular patterns that it doesn't sound like it would be logical that they were naturally occurring.
So the
Okay.
isn't 187 the police code for murder?
Yeah, on a
If-
bleepy cop. Yeah,
if
I
the
know.
West Coast
Okay.
rappers have taught me anything, it's yes, that's the
Yeah, that's
police code for
that's
murder.
rude. Can we not?
It's not. It is not.
Why is that rude?
It's just murder. It's not. It has nothing to do with police. It's the
It's rude
code for
because it's
murder.
obviously mocking me because obviously aliens have nothing to do with police codes.
Maybe.
So the point is,
The government are aliens.
Holy
police are
shit!
aliens.
You are. Oh my god!
I
This
won't-
makes sense.
I won't do it because it breaks Kelly too much.
oh my God.
What?
Michael Hipke, who co-authored an astronomical paper about these bursts, said that, and I quote, "It is likely not produced by something like a supernova explosion, All frequencies leave the nova at the same time, and the dispersion measure is created by dust crossing. As the amount of dust varies, the DM would seem random. So the fact that this number is consistent and that the multiple is very consistent seems like it's something that's at least of some intelligent design.
Could it be something bouncing off the edge of space?
Could be anything. Who knows?
I guess it could.
I don't think that it could have traveled that far that quickly, but who knows? Clearly no definite evidence yet, but it's one of two things. It's either a cosmic phenomena that they have yet to discover that could possibly create signals that last over that period of time and in such insanely precise measurements, or it is intelligent life. It's one or the other. And all the scientists are saying, yes, it has to be one or the other.
What if it's the Bigger Bang?
I don't think it's the Bigger Bang. It wouldn't
Okay.
make sense that was the Bigger Bang because that would just be a bang, Byron.
Okay.
That would be a
But what
bang.
if it was bigger, though?
Byron, I hate you.
I know. That's all for cryptids and conspiracies this week, right?
Yep, that'll do.
And if you want more cryptids and conspiracies in your life, you can follow Kelly on Twitter at Kelly Frightday.
You bet, you bet, you bet.
Samuel? Kelly?
Yeah.
What do you say we talk about a movie about a bear?
I'm going to bed.
No, don't. Stick around. You too, audience.
You too, audience, please. Please don't leave us.
All right. Let's talk about Backcountry.
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
Backcountry. This is a 2004. Why did I say it like that?
I don't know, but I think you should leave it.
All right. 2014 Canadian horror film directed by Adam MacDonald. Sam,
Sure.
you want to talk? You just say yes before I even ask. You know what's coming.
I'm a
Would you-
yes person, Byron.
Would you like to tell us what this movie's about?
Jen and Alex, a couple from the city, head into a Canadian provincial park to enjoy a long weekend of backpacking, getting back to nature, and rekindling the flame. They set out with some of the things a person might need in the backcountry and without some of the other things. And we get to watch their journey unravel.
I do have to say, for as much as I poke at Sam, I would feel utterly comfortable going into the woods in this scenario with him, and we would never end up in the same situation. He's very good with the survival
With the cannibalism.
stuffs.
Totally fine.
Excellent synopsis, folks. Backcountry. How'd you feel about it, Kelly?
I thought it was interesting. It was obviously, I think, much more of a thriller than a horror. It's kind of like calling Jaws a horror. I don't really know that it classifies.
In some circles.
I mean, it's one of those fringe categories that I'm sure you could make an argument for. So it was interesting. I thought that the acting to begin with was not great, but it got better as the movie went on.
Was that when they didn't have to talk as much?
Well, I think just as there was more to play off of,
Sure.
you know, it was good.
Okay.
I wouldn't say great, but I would say it was good. I would say it was solid.
Well, good. Sam, how about you?
I thought the movie was technically pretty well made, but I feel like I'm maybe missing something. The reviews have been generally positive about it. It has an 84% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 6.1 on IMDb.
Which is pretty good for a horror movie.
It is.
Or a thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I guess, see anything that exceptional about it. It was a little muddled with some kind of interesting parts, some pretty shots, but it fell flat for me. Byron, what about you?
I think my thoughts kind of echo closer with Sam's. This movie is pretty much, I don't know, maybe I'm horror jaded, but the whole time I was watching this movie, I was waiting for something horrific to happen.
Something spectacular.
Okay, I'm sorry, but if you didn't think that scene was horrific,
That was just one scene. And a majority of this movie is unnecessary building shots. Sure, they look good. These little travel montages, hiking into the woods, which happened probably 4 or 5 times, with no action and no dialogue that progressed the story. It was just filler. Every element that came into play was very heavy.
telegraphed, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just somewhere in the middle for me. And I was just waiting the whole time.
See, I thought the portrayal was pretty realistic about how the stress would build and build. And I actually thought that the swings back and forth with the relationship between the two main characters made sense because they're going through a lot of stress, and it would make sense that they would be emotionally vacillating.
But wouldn't you think that when they came into the situation, they should at least act like they care about each other?
I mean, I thought they did. It wasn't over the top and melodramatic, but I didn't think
There was
that it
zero chemistry.
I didn't see it.
Between
I didn't think it was
Jen
that
and
bad.
Alex. So how would each of you address the slow burn aspect, and if that's an accurate description?
See, it just made me increasingly uncomfortable because I kept thinking about, oh my God, like they are getting further in. You know that something's coming. It's funny because I expected some things that didn't happen, that didn't pan out, but that was okay because I think that it made it less predictable.
All of these things that you're saying, all these moments that are building and the tension that you felt, the payout was nowhere near what I expected.
Just felt like it was more realistic.
Well, that's fine. But if I want a realistic thing, I'll watch
documentaries.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a realistic thriller or a realistic horror movie. I mean, that's why Paranormal Activity is so scary.
I just think the pace and the tension in this was just, it didn't work for me. That's all.
There were
I don't have
points
even
where
much
the pace
to say
was
about
off for
Like,
sure, but
the fact that we're not coming up with anything to say about this, the fact that there's them hiking, and then we'll get into, there's a bear. There's a bear in this movie.
And that's on the poster, so that's not
yeah, we know that.
Can we just go to dead giveaways so that I can talk about that one scene? Because that's all I really want to talk about.
I don't mind going to dead giveaways. This is the point in the show where we spoil a movie if you don't want this movie ruined. I highly recommend you pause and watch Backcountry before continuing. Not much to spoil. Let's do it.
So
they get lost in the woods. He's planning to propose to her, of course.
Which was obvious from the second they got out of the car.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. The way I was proposed to was at a place that was really meaningful to Sam. And so I appreciated that he was trying to go out of his way to take her to a place that was really special to him to do this. And that made sense to me.
But you
and
guys
I think
love
maybe
each
that's
other,
why.
right? Did you love each other?
Did we?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think.
Because
at some
these
point.
guys, it didn't seem like they...
Did we?
No, at that moment.
Did we?
I didn't ask if you do. I assumed that.
And that's a wrap.
Yes, we did, and we do.
But
right?
these characters...
Yes, dude. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, now you're making me sad.
Kelly, we have to continue. I just didn't feel that chemistry. And I understand that the direction of the movie was going that way. I just didn't feel
It's
it.
like they picked two strangers out of a crowd and stuck them together in a car.
Anyhow, they get to a point where it's obvious that he's led them to a place that he does not recognize. He does not have a map. It comes out that in order to make sure they had a peaceful weekend, he secretly took her phone out of her backpack and put it in the car, which is something I could totally see my husband doing to me. It's very sad because in a moment of anger, she says some really mean things to him. And you know at that point that shit's not going to end well for these people. And you just feel this gut punch knowing that like, oh God, like she just said that. She shouldn't have said that. That was really mean. And then they're trying to find their way out and they're spending the night and they hear a bear outside. And then
outside of their tent.
And then the next day they hike some more. They still can't find their way out. They camp again.
Can we stop at the tent scene real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Willow Creek, a movie that came out last year.
Great movie.
And it has a tent scene that I wish this movie had. It had real fear and they were being quiet and acting like human beings.
Yeah, it was minimalist and it was really
effective.
really scary.
So Sam,
I didn't think this was that far off.
they're like sitting here like, what is that?
And then there's the point where the bear kind of jabs its muzzle through, not all the way through the tent, but just pushes the tent in while they're asleep. And I don't even remember who it was, but somebody just kind of like rolls over and pushes the bear's head out of the way, which did not fit the tone of the movie.
No, it was like
Okay, sorry. I was talking about the ultimate bear tent
the
scene.
Yeah, you
initial.
skipped all sorts of stuff.
The last one.
Well, yeah, we skipped the unnecessary character, the unnecessary skinny dip, the attempts to personalize the character.
The inventory, the backpack inventory at the beginning.
Oh, we have bear mace and a flare.
Yeah.
And
so
Yeah, it's like, what do I have in my level 9 bag of holding?
You're not going to need that.
You don't
The
need a
movie,
raid whistle.
It's ridiculous.
So they get to the point where the bear is actually outside. They wake up in the morning and he opens the tent and sees the bear is still there munching on something maybe 50 feet away from them.
I say he's hanging out.
But he was munching on something.
Sure. It's just a little snack.
And the bear starts to come towards them. He zips the tent back up and tells her to
Loudly.
be quiet. Well, there's no quiet way to zip a tent.
I mean, he didn't even have to
It was
zip
excessively loud.
And he opened it up way too much. Doesn't matter.
Point is,
Nitpicking.
It gets to a very comical sequence.
no, I didn't think it was comical at all. The bear eventually rips into the tent,
But
bites.
stop. You
No.
go too fast.
So this would be like, Kelly, there's a ghost in the hall. And I like look out. It's at the end of the hall. And I close the door. And I wait a second. Open the door. And it's like, oh, it's halfway here.
Oh, shit.
And I close it again and go, one more
See-
time. And there's, oh, it's right there.
Okay, no,
Except
but
he has
you
to
guys-
unzip the tent, look out there, oh shit, the bear's
Okay,
closer, zip
but
it back up.
You guys, like,
Okay.
sure, you can do that and you can mock it, but when you think about it, at that point, there's literally nothing else they can do.
Anything except stay
Yeah.
in the tent.
Well, or zip it down a little bit so you can see without making noise and be quiet and just wait it out. But
Well, they did wait it out, and what happened? The bear burst in and bit him in the leg and bit her or swiped her in the arm, and the bear goes away, and she's trying to like put a tourniquet on his leg. It's the bottom part of his leg, and it's
Yeah.
bad. It's really gross.
he can't feel his foot.
And then suddenly the bear comes back, literally drags him out of the tent, and it's one of the most horrific scenes. The effects were
I'll give
really
it.
good.
awesome.
That scene looked great, but they rushed it. Everything in the tent happened within like a minute.
But that's the way it would happen. It gave you the same feeling that you would have if you were her. That
Okay.
like, holy shit, everything just went.
But I
south
wouldn't have
immediately.
been bored for the rest of
There
it.
has to be a chase. There has to be moments of temporary relief that
That's
you're
exactly what the whole
Partial
first third of the
escape.
movie, or
No,
first
that-
half of the movie was.
No, I was not afraid of what was chasing them. I didn't see it in it.
You knew it was a
no
bear.
threat.
After the first night that the bear's poking around their tent, you're worried about it. And then they see the bear nest. They know that it's close by, okay?
I'm not talking about that. I'm not
That
talking
is
about
the
like
chase.
I'm not talking
No.
about like a Michael Myers like in the distance chase. I'm talking about like a scream like
Like the
arm
ghost
cut-
face
ghost-
jumping over the couch to stab you.
Yeah, and then
It
you get
doesn't
away for a
have to
second
follow
And hit him with the
that
coffee
formula.
table.
Well, but it's just more effective for me like that. To have
Yeah.
the villain like chase you and you hide for like 4 seconds and he's like, I got you again.
So you
And
want to
almost-
make sure that it follows a formula that you can predict perfectly.
No,
so that's what you're saying?
a formula that's scarier.
I would say that it's
How is
like
it scarier
they had,
if you know exactly what the formula is? That's contradictory.
not-
Byron.
they had this great painting and they put it in a shitty frame.
All I'm saying is we had a very good dessert here. And instead of taking little bites at it, they just like ate it in one bite.
I don't know. I thought it was much more
So,
realistic.
The man gets drug out. Pretty cool gore effects. His lips are like hanging off.
horrible.
Like, it was pretty good.
And then it follows her, and I would say that the end scene of her coming out of the woods was.
Just
Well-
jumping.
Kelly, you slow down.
No, I'm just talking about because the rest
Yeah,
of the
but-
movie is her trying
No,
to get out of the woods. That's the whole rest of the movie.
We didn't
No.
even get back to she comes back to the corpse after she makes an escape from the tent
She
to get the
she
ring.
gets 5 feet away and she turns around. It's not
It's
like
farther away.
She didn't grab the axe.
She didn't.
That would have been nice.
She comes back and she recovers the engagement ring out of one of the backpacks that's by the tent and stops to look at the bear just chowing down on poor Alex.
Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool
Yeah, it's
scene.
pretty gnarly.
I don't know why I had more problems with this than you. The use of the flare that was shown briefly in the trailer.
Oh no, it was absurdly heavy-handed. I completely agree.
No, I'm just saying that there was no enemy after that. The bear was following her, but it never posed another threat in this movie.
Oh, to me it did. And at that point, the enemy was the fact that she was starving.
The environment.
She was broken.
Boring.
And realistically, I thought it was exactly the kind of movie where she really might not make it out.
It was boring. It wasn't realistic. I thought the acting was bad. Yes, I understand that shock induces terrible decisions sometimes.
She broke
but
her leg. We didn't say that.
She fell down a waterfall, broke her leg.
No, she jumped off of a waterfall.
I looked like she slipped.
And it was sad because that was the waterfall that he was trying to take her to propose, so it was really depressing.
You know what I was missing is a showdown. I wanted to see a flare in the eye of a bear. I wanted to see some sort of
See, that
fight
would have been
back.
so absurd.
Yeah, I wanted to see
me.
rising tension, climax,
I
and
think
then
you
falling
guys,
tension.
no offense, but I think that's why like intelligent reviewers liked this movie and like idiots didn't, because it didn't.
Come on now.
Because it didn't follow some like spoon-fed.
That's not
like
what I'm
appealing
saying.
to the lowest, most base instinct.
see,
it was
I
like
understand what it was. It just wasn't done very well.
I'm not saying I wanted a predictable situation when I say these things. I'm saying that those are elements that make a good movie. A villain. There was no real villain.
And
how do you not think that the bear was a complete villain?
Okay,
in this?
because I wanted both of them to get eaten.
Kelly, imagine Jaws, like the first kill in Jaws, let's say. It eats the boy and that's like, okay, and it goes away. You're
But
like,
that's
well,
not at all what happened in
Or
this.
then
The
they
bear
s-
followed them the whole
But do you see what?
movie.
No,
Yeah,
but do you
then they
understand what I'm
s-
saying? It's like one person died, and that was it. There was no more fighting. There was
And then
no
maybe
more
the rest of them
showdown.
sit there in the boat stranded for half an afternoon until the Coast Guard comes out, saves them, then they go back and everybody's fine.
Actually, if we want to compare it to Jaws, it actually follows the formula pretty damn closely, because at the beginning it kills somebody, and so here you can see that it's killed this deer, and very clearly it's killed a deer in a very vicious way, and so you know that there's something out there.
How do you kill a deer in a
bear-
gentle way
Come on
with,
now, he's eating
with
it.
teeth and claws?
So as you move forward, how does a shark
nom, nom,
kill
nom, nom.
a human in a gentle way? It's the
Everyone
same
knows that
frickin' thing.
Jaws thinks. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, and obviously this bear did too. It was tracking them. It was actively following them. Even when it was full, it was still sitting there waiting for them. It was terrifying. And when she was running away, all I could think of is, oh my God, if that were me and I was in that much shock, there's no way I'd survive. There's no way I would make it.
I just wasn't scared by this. That's
At
all.
no point. It wasn't
Okay,
even
agree to
tense
disagree.
ever.
We'll have to. I think that's great. It's good that we have.
I'm more
different-
like the New York Times, and
Oh
you
my
guys are more like, ain't it cool news? I mean, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
I understand your points. I wish that you understood.
It's not even
art.
that I think it's amazing. I just think that what you guys are criticizing it for is that it doesn't fall into a box.
That's not what I meant.
You guys keep saying over and over again, I needed this or I needed this.
Say you're
I
watching
needed
a
this.
heist movie and they rob a convenience store and then just kind of hang out for a bit.
Yeah, they get into the car and drive
But
off.
again, that's not what happened.
But that is what happened.
No.
One.
the brutal
One
murder
day-
wasn't at the
Not
beginning.
Kelly. It wasn't a real heist.
It wasn't at the beginning either. It was 2/3 of the way through the movie.
I just wasn't. I wasn't affected by the tension. I didn't really care about the characters
At all. I didn't hate him, really. I mean, I'm glad that that Alex got eaten and that she got all busted up,
Yeah.
but I didn't really care.
Okay. Maybe it was the loose threads. They meet a stranger. Don't fall asleep for
I'm
me.
going to fall asleep.
Who is increasingly aggressive towards Alex? Right.
It was yucky.
He is yucky.
Just a random Irishman in the woods.
And-
That's the part where Sam would have gone to jail.
and he acts malicious, and then they just let him go.
Yeah, but see, to me, the predictable thing to do, which would have actually annoyed the hell out of me, is if he would have come back and played a role in their attack, or you find out that he has something to do with moving the bear in their
He
direction.
trained the bear.
See, wait, what if he trained the bear, or what if
What if
it was
murders in the Rue Morgue
what
scenario?
If what if he was feeding the bear? What if that was what he was doing?
Like the alligators in Lake
Yeah,
Placid.
see, to me, that would have been super predictable.
Predictable that
But
a
it would've
man
been-
was killing human
Well, no,
beings to
because
feed to a bear.
no, because
if you predict that,
I just think that would have been more interesting.
it would have been.
what I'm saying is, you guys are complaining about the fact that they foreshadowed everything at the beginning with those instruments. They also foreshadowed that this guy was going to be a huge problem by the really heavy-handed interaction with him. But it turned out that wasn't. That was a red herring, and that's okay for me because that makes the movie more interesting. So you guys are complaining that they were heavy-handed in predicting something, and then you're complaining
but
that they predicted something that didn't come to
No, the
fruition.
foreshadowed.
Which one?
The foreshadowing of the things didn't make sense, and that's what made it worse. They focused on these items that came into play in no way. The flare made no sense, didn't make any sense. The bear spray was common sense, which didn't even need to be shown. And the cell phone thing, they could have done it in one scene, but they did it in 3. We understand it.
See, to me, the bear spray was more of a testament to like, this girl really doesn't know much about being out in the woods. Carrying bear spray isn't really necessarily a super effective way to protect yourself. Like, they didn't have more significant ways to protect themselves. And I thought that it told
Because
more
they
of
were
that
in
story.
Canada.
I thought it told more of that story because she even made some comment about, yeah, I know it'll just make me feel better if I have it. And I thought that that was setting up a foundation for how much she was going to freak out when she realized that the person she's been depending on to get her through this very unfamiliar situation has completely let her down. So to me, it was building that foundation.
Maybe you connected with the characters more than us.
I mean, I didn't, like I said, it's funny that I'm defending it. I just think you guys are being way too hard on it. It's
I think you're
certainly.
being too hard
I
on
like
us.
it
You-
less the more we talk about
You
it.
call this idiots like
No,
5 times.
No, I didn't. I said.
And whether or not we're idiots, that's
Yeah,
totally
that's
beside the point.
I said that maybe that's a reason that intelligent people have liked this movie. And you were reading the reviews yourself. You were
Yeah.
just saying like New York Times likes it.
Variety, Hollywood Reporter, everyone. But
Okay, what do you give it?
Kelly.
I'm over it.
Kelly.
What do you give it?
it was a movie. It was less moody than I wanted it to be. I didn't connect with the characters. It was pretty heavy-handed, but it was shot all right. It looked good and it had a story. It was just too real for me, I guess. Like real in like a why was this necessary kind of way. But I still thought it was tolerable and I give it a 4.0.
Wow.
Is that okay?
Of course it's okay. It's your opinion.
All right.
Kelly?
I'd give it a 6.
Solid 6.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
Okay.
I think it was definitely worth our time to watch. And I think that it was interesting because it was a more subtle horror movie or thriller, whatever you want to call it, than most.
Bit too subtle.
Yeah, so subtle. I must have missed whatever part about it was good.
Uh-oh, what are you going to give it?
I actually am going to go 4.5.
Ooh.
Really?
And the more, I think I'm with Byron. The story was easy to follow. It wasn't, a muddled wreck of narration. And technically, it was very well done. I also think that could have been to its detriment. Sometimes it felt a little too slick, but generally I felt its technical value was its strongest point.
And that's our review of Backcountry.
Do we have any questions? Does anybody ask us questions?
You know,
anymore?
not this week.
Why don't you guys review movies you like?
That would
Fuck,
be
we're trying to.
That would be a nice question. If you have any questions, you can write us, contact@frightday.com. If you have any opinions on immortal sea creatures or...
If you can explain why Byron and I are the only two people on the planet that weren't huge fans of Backcountry.
And we live in Montana, which is basically Canada.
It is. We're
is.
like our wieners touch.
I'm not touching weens with Can. Come on now.
What? You and what?
It's
Rob?
okay. If you have a question, contact at frightday.com or just tweet us directly at Frightday on Twitter.
At Frightday Wiener.
Big breath of relief. This show is getting pretty close to over, Kelly.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. You had such a good time tonight.
I'm just going to find a picture of the key fob man. Or the watch fob man. That's all I'm going to do.
I would love to see one.
As would I.
Do we know what we're watching next week? I know it's potentially the film Nightlight, or it could be Ghoul.
Ghoul.
I'm not really sure what we're going to watch.
Well, let's play it by ear.
Maybe The Pyramid? That's coming out pretty
I'd
soon.
love to see the pyramid. I know
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
alone in that.
If you have any
Getting
recommendations
used to that
as well,
position, being alone.
if you have any suggestions for us, once again, at Frightday on Twitter. Guys, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, me
Yep,
too.
likewise.
You're tired. Where can we find you when you're not sleeping? On the internet, mostly.
At Kelly Frightday.
And you have an email address. I know you always
Kelly at Frightday.
forget. You gotta perk it up a bit.
.com.
Nice. Sam, how about you?
Just Google me.
Just Google Sam. Just first name Sam.
At Sam Frightday or email me at
First name
sam@frightday.com.
Sam.
And there's a lot of ats in there.
And I'm Byron McKoy. You can email me byron@frightday.com or tweet me Byron McKoy on Twitter. MCKOY is what people tell me I need to say.
It's true. That is helpful. Your spelling's kind of weird.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Look to your left, look to your right. Do you see anyone? Are you by yourself?
Yeah, I'm by
Not
myself.
you. I'm talking about them, the listener.
What?
Do you think they'd be interested in our podcast? Type Frightday into the whatever application you use for this kind of stuff, or just tell your parents or something. Parents like doing stuff for kids and people, right?
Yeah.
And they love the F word.
They'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And until next Frightday, I'm Byron.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Sam.
Stay screwed.